What's up, Browns fans? This is Ray in LA, and you're listening to the Dawgs podcast. An MRI of Watson's right shoulder revealed a displaced fracture to the glenoid? Let's kick this thing off.
Welcome to the Dawgs podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, John Nye, and Josh All.
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dawgs podcast. Just Blake, me, and Justin tonight. No Josh or John. Josh has something going on, and I really don't know where John's at. So hopefully he's okay out there. John, if you're watching, just give one of us a call, please. Or if anybody sees John, let him know we were doing a podcast tonight. Actually, I think he did text us just before we came on.
He did.
He couldn't make it, but I like giving John a hard time. So tonight, Justin and I are going to give you some of our thoughts on like the Deshaun situation, and then Josh put out a short video. But we want to give you some of our thoughts, a little bit of what we expect out of DTR going forward, and just the Browns quarterback room in general. And then obviously we're going to dive into this huge matchup with the Steelers, which when you guys are watching this episode, we're going to know if this game is potentially to take over first place in the AFC North. Game's currently going on. You can see the light reflection in Justin's mic as he's watching it while we're recording this. So if anything cool happens, he can let us know on the fly. But yeah, so when you guys are watching this is either going to be, I feel like the Browns are a win-win tonight. Obviously, I want the Bengals to win because then we take care of business for first. But even if the Ravens win, then we just gained more ground on the Bengals. So it's really win-win. But I would love to win the division because that's the easiest way to make the playoffs is to win the division. So we're gonna get into all that tonight. But before we do that, I want to remind you to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Please like the video. Make sure you tap the notification bell so you never miss any of the new content we're putting out. You can also find us on Apple, Spotify, and Google if you prefer to just listen to the show. And then lastly, if you're looking for more Dawgs content, head to jointhedawgs.com, become an official Dog Pack member on the Patreon page. You get extra episode every week. You get access to the private Discord. That's really the big highlight. You get to hang out with Browns fans from all over the world. You get to play fantasy football with us. You might get to meet us one day. We've met a bunch of these guys now. Just a good time, good online Browns community. So whenever things are great, you got people to celebrate with you. And whenever things are not great, you have people to commiserate with you and help keep your spirits up. Like we found out about Deshaun yesterday. So that it was nice to have the Discord yesterday. So if you're looking for some Browns fans to hang out with all the time, you want more content, you want to help support the show, head to jointhedawgs.com and become an official dog. So I haven't, a little over 24 hours now to kind of digest the Deshaun thing. Initially, obviously, like devastated. I mean, I'm on my way into work yesterday and I'm listening to anything I can find about the Browns, all week, just living on a high off of the Ravens game, just really thinking like, man, this feels different. We are legit. Not only are we legit, I feel like for the first time in maybe a couple of years, the AFC is just kind of wide open. Like every team has lost. The Bills have fallen off. Like who knows what's going on there. The Chiefs have a great defense this year, but their offense isn't explosive as it has been. We just beat the Ravens. The Bengals are fighting to even make it in because of the way they started. So it just felt like for the first time, it wasn't being locked up by the Patriots or the Chiefs, like just basically automatically, in basically my whole life. And then we're 6-3. We just went through the gauntlet of the season for us. We played the toughest schedule of almost anybody in the league. We did it with backups everywhere, including quarterback. And we came out of it 6-3 with a chance to really take control of our own destiny this week if a couple things happen. And I'm just sitting at work and I just get the notification and I couldn't even believe it at first. I thought maybe it was fake or some people were just messing, and then it was pretty depressing.
It's fair. That's fair. I don't know. I feel like it just kind of sums up what it's like to be a Browns fan. We're coming off this, huge momentous win. Like the highs can't be any higher. You feel like, just like you said, the season kind of is in our control. We're finally in the driver's seat. We've gotten through what we thought were most of the obstacles, and we're still, thriving. Do we have some issues? Yeah, but I felt like we were figuring things out. The locker room, felt like things were riding high. And then you get the news that, Deshaun Watson has a broken bone in his shoulder and that the season's over. He's getting surgery. And it just kind of came out of nowhere. I felt like, if anything, I was more worried about the ankle. I was like, if he has a high ankle sprain, which they said he did, I'm like, what are we looking at? Like 4 to 6 weeks maybe that we might not have him. And I was just going through the motions again of what we've already went through the past, 5 weeks with this. So it's just such a tough break. And we're in a situation too where it's just like, God damn it, what are we going to do now? Like, because to me, I went, oh, well, we're going to PJ Walker, and I don't know how anybody else feels, but for me, I'm like, I'm tired of PJ Walker. I'm tired of watching just careless turnovers. I'm tired of seeing us just have to like fight for our lives and give everything just to win by a field goal or, a miscue or maybe even a bad call. And then we hear the DTR starting, and in my head, I'm going, I just watched that guy play in Cleveland in the Baltimore game, and it was hard to watch. It was very, very difficult. I know everybody's saying that, like he feels like it's night and day and that he's come a long way, but it's super tough because I felt like we were right at the cusp of really just making a run at this thing, and our destiny was in our hands. It wasn't like we needed help from anybody like in previous years. We didn't need Baltimore to lose and Cincinnati to lose and 6 other teams to tie and lose. We had it in our grasp. All we had to do was go and make a decent. We had to play just decent football the rest of the schedule, and we were good to go. And it's just very deflating. And I don't want to come off sounding negative. I'm heading into this week going, hey, we have a chance to beat both of our biggest rivals back to back, and we're going back home. The crowd's going to be great. Cleveland always plays good in Cleveland for the most part. The defense surely does. So I'm not down. I'm not defeated, but it's just such a tough break. Watson, I finally felt like he was getting to that point where you're like, hey, he's getting to be that old guy again. And then it's just, it's a tough break.
It's the couple things I wanted to talk about too. Like, well, one, after the initial depression, like a typical Browns fan, by the end of the workday, I was already like, we're still okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And do I know if we're like, are we the legit Super Bowl, say we don't sign anybody, which we'll talk about, and we roll with DTR, are we legit Super Bowl contenders? I don't know. I don't know if we are. The AFC is kind of all over the place this year, in my opinion. So maybe we would be with this defense if he can just take care of the ball. But I do think, with all my heart, the Browns are still very much a 10-win playoff team. We just went 6-3 through the tough part of the schedule, and it's not like we had Deshaun for all 9 of those games and he was playing great. We did it with backups. We did it with Deshaun not playing well in the game. Like, it wasn't a take. We did just have our quarterback out there carrying us through these first 6 wins. And if you look at the remaining schedule, yes, there's a couple games now that look like they could be a little bit tougher. Like the Texans game is probably going to be tougher than we anticipated. The Broncos, I don't think the Broncos are good per se right now. Their offense lacks any explosion. I think they kind of look slow. Russell's playing better. He's taking care of the ball and stuff, but he's still not what he was.
Right.
But I think what's really helping them, like their defense is starting to play like the defense we thought it would be.
Their defense is going crazy. Yeah, absolutely.
So that all of a sudden looks like a tougher game than maybe we thought it was going to be a month ago. But I still think, like, in all reality, you just got to go forward. And I think we still got more than likely the Jets with Zach Wilson. You got to think, even with as great as their defense is, like, we can squeak that one out. You got to think we can beat the Bears. It doesn't really matter who's playing quarterback for us. I still think we beat the Broncos. Like, I just think from here on out, even if we win, that they're going to be ugly wins. They're going to be, we're pulling our hair out. We're going to be, at the end of the game, we're going to be like, man, are we even any good? But we're going to get the win, because I think that's just kind of the way we're going to have to play now. But I do think that, like, there's no reason to punt on the season. And I think it's been good. You see out of the locker room, like, the defense has come out and been like, the other team will score, they can't win. So I really think the defense is going to rally. I love how tight this locker room is.
Yes.
I already liked Stefanski, but this year I just keep liking him even more and more whenever I hear his post-game speeches and some of the stuff I'm hearing him say to the media. Like, the dude has the buy-in from the locker room. I feel like this year he is closer with the guys than he's ever been before, it seems. And I think they're kind of beating up that. I definitely think Jim Schwartz has been a good influence on him, in terms of just like how to connect, with the locker room and that kind of thing. And which is what we always want. We wanted him to have a defensive coordinator that had that kind of experience to kind of, guide him a little bit. And I feel like it's been night and day. Just the way I see him interact with guys on the sidelines compared to in years past, I feel like it's night and day. So I feel like he's come a long way. I have a total buy-in with the team. I really think they have a chance to still do so. And then if you make the playoffs with this defense, who knows what can happen?
Absolutely.
And I'm seeing notifications popping up. I mean, but Mark Andrews probably out for the season. I just saw Lamar got hurt. I don't know how serious it is, but like if he's out for any extended period of time, like all of a sudden, like everybody's banged up in the AFC North now. Like eventually it's still, you know what I mean? So it's still theirs for the taking. I still feel confident, but it still sucks. I mean, cause like you said, he had played the three previous games, or the last three full games he had played. We talked about this. He had thrown for almost over 700 yards, 5 touchdowns, only 1 pick, a 68% completion percentage, 3-0. He just went 14 of 14 in the second half. And it was like, you were like, man, like everybody's like one good half of football. But if you're a Browns fan, you can pay attention. It wasn't one half of football. His last 3 full games he's played, he's played pretty well. The first half of the Ravens game was definitely a little ugly, but the whole team was a little ugly in the first half. You know what I mean? And so nobody remembers the Patriots. Like nobody talks about the Patriots Super Bowl when they came back from down 28-3. Nobody talks about them sucking for the first 2.5 quarters. No. They talk, you know what I mean? They talk about how great the comeback was. So it's just, why do you got to talk about the comeback was great? He was 14-14. So the only people focusing on the first half are honestly haters and not real fans. I'm like, but I think we can put to bed this idea that it's so it was announced. Like people come to me at work that he was faking it, and I just was instantly irritated.
It's frustrating.
And I'm like, guys, and then you're hearing the reports like he wanted to get pain shots, he wanted to play, like he saw multiple
9 or 10 doctors.
Opinions. And the guys who told him, they're like, we can't even really believe you finished the game with this in the first place. Like one wrong hit. Like, here's the thing, guys, as bad as it sucks, and trust me, it sucks. And I'm not saying it doesn't make the trading worse, because I've always said the best ability is availability, and injuries are part of it. Like we pulled Greg Oden bust in the NBA because it couldn't stay on the court. So this trade right now it's not looking great. I'm not going to sit here and say that it looks great. I can't grade the trade on the first 2 years of the 4 and 5 year deal. Right. You know what I mean? Because if he comes back next year, we play great, and we go to a Super Bowl, then it was worth it. Then the trade is an A+. So we can't grade it yet. Yeah, but this definitely puts a damper on it. But man, the guy wants to play. You could tell how hungry he was when he, you know what I mean? Like you could tell, like, man, I just got back to it, and it's gone again. So hopefully he has a good recovery. It's good to hear guys in the locker room, so they're going to kind of rally around him. They're going to go down wherever he rehabs and work out with him. I think it'd be cool. I don't know what the rules are and stuff, but like, I'd have him and Chubb on the sideline for some of these games, especially these home games. Like
far off the sideline.
Yeah, like, but you know what I mean? Like, especially Deshaun, it's his shoulder. He can still stand. Like Chubb, but man, think about the energy the crowd would have. Like if if Chubb's at the sideline when we're playing Pittsburgh and they're the team that took them out, and we're coming out kind of like chip on the shoulder, Cleveland against the worry, and we got to do this with our backup again. And then Chubb comes walking out, like I feel like the stadium would. So I would love to see. I don't think it'll ever happen, but I just thought that'd be cool idea.
Absolutely.
Before we move on, real quick, Browns fans in Ohio, Caesar Sportsbook is running a new sign-up offer. You don't want to miss. New customers can get their first bet on Caesars up to $1,000 by using our code DAWGS1000 during sign-up. Not only will your first bet be covered, but you'll also be directly supporting our podcast. So if you have not yet joined Caesar Sportsbook, now is the perfect time to make your move. Just remember to enter our code DAWGS1000, all one word, when you sign up and place that first bet. This offer is only available for new customers who are 21 and older and physically present in Ohio. Please gamble responsibly. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Check the episode description for the full terms of the offer to see if you can qualify.
What do you think happens in terms of, do we try to sign anybody?
I don't know, man, because when it first broke, I thought there was probably like 5 or 6 names that kind of popped in my head, and like Nick Foles, kind of like Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, like guys that are out there and they're pretty much done, and we've said they've been done for a long time. But at this point, you know, it sounds like we definitely would need somebody. I was adamant. I'm like, I can't do more PJ Walker, and we've already said that I can't do any more PJ Walker.
No, I think it is 100% the right idea to go with DTR.
I agree. And if you watched Barry's press conference, he basically said, I'm good with who we got, and I don't think we're going to make any moves. And I was just like, oh man, like, and that was before they even announced DTR. Now, there's guys out there, and I'll let you kind of tee it up. There's guys out there, but I think that the guys that Browns fans are kind of like clapping for, like, let's say like Tom Brady's not coming to Cleveland.
No,
he's not coming to Cleveland. I don't even know if he's allowed to because he's a minority owner with the Raiders. I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
I thought there was interesting names though. Like Nick Foles, I thought, you know, I know he was awful the last time we saw him, but I'm like, there's guys out there.
And when it first happened, my initial thought was really any of these guys would be better. I'm not saying any of them are good, but they would at least look like they belonged on the football field. You know what I mean? The more I hear about DTR, the more I'm setting myself up for disappointment because I'm anxious to see how he performs. A name I just saw before we came on here, a guy who's kind of making his pitch to the Browns, like, hey, sign me, was RG3. And I thought, interesting, you know, he says he still runs a 4.3. He says he still trains like he's in the league literally every week, just in case something like this, because he hasn't officially retired and he's wanted to get back on teams. So he's been keeping himself in shape. I'm not sitting here saying RG3 carry us to a Super Bowl, but man, what does it hurt to call him and bring him in for a workout? You know what I mean? He's been in the building before. He's mobile. He can run. He's been analyzing the game now since, you know, he hasn't been on a roster. So he knows the game. He's played a lot of football. And worst case scenario, he's a good locker room guy. He's good in Baltimore. He's really good for Lamar. So I would give him a call because here's the thing: is even if you bring him in, and RG3 even said this, like, if you bring me in and GTR plays well, and then you roll with DTR to be the starter, he was like, I would be a great guy to back him up. To kind of like show the range, show how to be a pro and that kind of thing. Like I did it for Lamar. I could do it for him. It sounds to me like he would come in with the right attitude. And hopefully DTR rolls out. That'd be awesome. Yeah. But worst case scenario, if he gets hurt, I just don't want to watch me able to play anymore. And I appreciate everything he did and he fought. But at the end of the day, we're really still trying to stay in this thing. And it's just, I mean, if he ends up playing, we'll rally around him. But it's just, I'd rather, like, I would give him a call. I think he's the rival option. A name I thought it was.
I think at the end of the day, Andrew Berry owes it to the defense and some of these other skill guys on this team to at least make some calls. You have got to at least make some calls, because my thing, and you kind of touched on it, DTR is going to be the starter. Do you want PJ Walker mentoring DTR? Bring in at least a veteran guy that knows the ropes a little bit. I'm not saying PJ Walker isn't like a pros pro, because he's done everything basically. He's done XFL. He's done everything. He's been everywhere. But I would just love to bring in a guy that just knows the ropes of how this league works and has been there, done that. And I'm not saying that guy has to be the starter. If DTR, I think there's going to be growing pains. I don't think that he goes into this game and he throws for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. If you're thinking that, that's unrealistic. I think we're going to be very run heavy this game. I think their running back trio is going to get a lot of touches. And I think that they just kind of bring him along as the season goes and just see where this thing goes. I mean, that's at our point. I think they looked at the PJ Walker situation and said, if this is the reason we got rid of Baker. They said, this guy in clutch moments makes mistakes, and he can't take us to the places that we want to go. So you can't turn back to PJ Walker and go, hey, we're going to be in some tight games, but you're not going to be able to throw 3 interceptions and, allow a strip sack fumble. You can't. I think the fan base would absolutely lose you think they're mad now just on petty stuff? You cannot turn to him and then you go into Cleveland and let TJ Watt get a strip sack fumble, walking into the end zone. You can't do that. I'm frustrated that we're bringing him into this situation again, because it just feels like the Baltimore situation all again. But at least there's a week of, you are the guy. It's not a doubt. It's not an hour before the game. And I believe coach will have a good game plan where it's smart for him. I don't think that it's going to be an open playbook. I think it's going to be very simple. We watched the film. There were guys running around wide open. The vision wasn't there. He didn't see the guys. He missed his reads. It was ugly. It wasn't a good game for him, and it's not a knock on him. He's a 5th-round rookie quarterback that got tossed into a awful situation at the last second. I mean, we all were frustrated about it. I don't think that it takes any value away from who he is going forward. I still think that he can be a talented guy in this league. But we'll see. I wouldn't expect 40 attempts unless things completely go out of hand. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be a game script to this. And I think even if it gets ugly, they won't get off that game script. I don't think they're going to throw him to the wolves again. I can't see that.
Head over to omahasteaks.com right now. Enter code DAWGS, DAWGS, when you check out. Get $30 off your order right now. Are the last days of the semi-annual 50% off site-wide sale at omahasteaks.com. So get your orders in. I think this promo ends at the end of the week, if I'm not mistaken. So Omaha Steaks is the best meat. You've heard us talk about it on this show for like 2 years now. I mean, we love Omaha Steaks. I just ordered another pack of this stuff, one of their packages. I got the 50% off. Of course, I used the code DAWGS, got the extra $30 off. Great deals. Find anything you want over there at Omaha Steaks. They have something for everybody. It's awesome. It's great food. Just want to remind you guys to take advantage of this semi-annual sale now before it's over. omahasteaks.com. Enter code DAWGS when you check out. Minimum order may apply.
I'm really hopeful this week. I'm hopeful that I think DTR over the course of the last 8 games, I think he's going to be able. I anticipate him to be able to play well in some games. And when I say well, I don't mean light the world on fire.
Right.
I just mean take care of the ball.
Game manager.
This game, I think he could struggle.
Yes,
but I'm hoping his struggle is not turnovers. If he comes out and he goes 9 of 22 for 90 yards, but he didn't turn it over, I'll be like, at least he didn't put the defense in a bad situation.
Correct.
Ball turn, I really don't care about his stats this game at all. Just the only one I care about is the turnover stat.
Yep. Just
0 turnovers, please. Just give yourself a chance with the run game and with the defense.
Yes.
Because after this, the Jets have a good defense, a really good defense. The Broncos defense is really coming along, but this is going to be by far the most aggressive like front. You know what I mean?
Yes.
In terms of like individual talent, TJ Watt's going to be the best guy he plays in games coming off the edge the rest of the season. You know, so it's just survive this game. You know, and I still think we can win this game.
Absolutely.
We get not turn it over.
No.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, just don't force it. If it's not, if you got to take a sack, take a sack. I don't care I really don't care how ugly this game is on the offensive side of the ball. Like, as long as we're not giving it away. If we have to punt 10 times and we only score 10 points or something, I really just don't turn it over and give us a chance late. But that's all I want out of the offense in this game. Like, and then if it's a 3-score game and we get the ball with a minute and a half back and a timeout, and then he's got to let it rip, and he ends up throwing the pick late. It is what it is. That's our early options, but at least everything up until that point gave us a chance to be in it and a chance to win it at the end. I don't want to be out of this. I don't want to be out of it in the first quarter like the last time we played.
I agree.
You know,
I agree.
So, and I think we ran the ball really well against the Ravens, and I think we're going to get DeJuan Jones back.
Yep.
I think Teller was at practice today, or did he miss practice? I can't remember.
I do not know that. Yeah.
But I think we're at least going to have DeJuan Jones back, which is big because I did not want Hudson been up against TJ. Is even though he did a serviceable job, the Ravens don't have the edge rusher. They don't have an edge TJ.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to run the ball. I hope Ford builds on the game he just had.
Yeah.
Like I hope that's kind of like an eye opener. Like these guys are fast. I don't need to dance. Like let's just hit it and go. And if it's 2 yards this time, it's 2 yards this time. Next time it might bust for 7 or 8, you know?
Yeah.
So I look for that and just keep the stupid a game. Give yourself a chance. Make sure you have a chance to win it at the end. And that's all. That's really all I want to see. I want to see 0 turnovers. And then just go back a little bit in terms of a backup. It's honestly DTR this week, but I really think he's got to. If it's not RG3, which I'm not even saying it is RG3, I just thought that was an interesting name. And he has been keeping himself in shape. He said he can still throw a football 80 yards.
Right.
So if he's still got ability and he can take care of the ball, and I mean, why not give him a call? Pulaploy was one of the first people I thought in space football. He's only on to have a really solid backup career.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, been one of the more dependable backups in the league. And again, I'm not saying you bring him in that he tilts the scales towards a Super Bowl, but that was another guy that his name popped up. If I was somebody like Ryan Tannehill, which we've seen fake reports out there, I would be asking for a release. Like, he's not playing for the Titans ever again. You know, like I would be like, hey, can you release? I'd be calling my agent saying, hey, ask them to release me. And also go call the Browns and let them know, like, if they release me, I want to come there, a chance to start. I would take Ryan Tannehill on this team. He's played on a team that's got a similar mold to this run game, strong offensive line, like run first, play action. Like, he can come here and play well enough for us to get to the playoffs. You know what I mean? And again, obviously I want to win a Super Bowl, but I think if you can take this break, I said online, if you can get to the playoffs, if Kevin Stefanski drags this breaking team to the playoffs,
Yes.
it's going to be insufferable.
Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
So, I just think you got to get somebody, because like you said, and you can't go back to PJ Walker. You got to give the other 53 guys in the locker room, like, you got to do what's right by them.
You can't. And to me, like, if they go and let's say, I'm just throwing a name out there. Let's say they go get like a Kellen Mond or something. Like, to me, I'm just like, so we're just punting on the season. Is that what we're doing? Like, is that what we're really doing? And I could be really, really wrong. I could be way off. Maybe this kid has progressed nicely, but all I heard was, you know, we're really confident with DTR and what he can do. And then I was watching that game and very unconfident. The only thing I'll say is, going into this game, Browns fans, have some patience.
Yeah,
have some patience with this kid. If you are a true fan, you cannot go into this game and lose hope after the first drive. If we go out, or if he throws a ball in the dirt. If I'm at the stadium and somebody starts booing in front of me, they're getting popcorn. I'm just throwing popcorn at them the whole game. It's just so ridiculous, like the expectations that we put on this team, especially like I I've went to games and we've cheered for teams that couldn't win a damn game all season, and then we actually have a good product that we think they can go really good places. Maybe it's just me and you. I don't know. Like, I know the Dogs. We really believe in this team, but I'm saying, like, I feel like the fan base is so divided. Like we're rolling this garbage product out there every week. And sometimes there's things that happen. I mean, it's not always pretty, but I mean, we're 6-3. Are we really booing 6-3? And then you're booing a rookie quarterback in his second start against Pittsburgh? Come on, guys. Come on now. Please don't.
Justin's getting pretty mad anticipating it.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Like, if anything, if you're we are going to play an important part in the home games now. Like, we got to keep these guys up, because, I mean, to be honest, we're asking them to go out and do, like, it's already hard to win games, and they had to overcome obstacle after obstacle after obstacle, and they just keep fighting. You heard Kevin Stefanski say we're going to fight because that's what we do, which I loved. I thought that was a good quote.
Yes.
And so, like, we got to stand up for these guys. I completely agree. Like, let's go. These guys have overcome so much already this season to put themselves in a position that we haven't been in many times. Like, let's stay behind these guys.
Yep.
So we already kind of talked about a little bit what to expect out of DTR against the Steelers. This game, we should have won the first game. If we take a knee every single play on offense in the second half, we would have won. You know what I mean? Like, if we went to the Waterboy offense, we win this game. I fully expect the defense to be just as good in this game. Like, it's not like we played the Steelers offense early and then they've really figured it out. They're still just as putrid today on offense as they still haven't gone over 400 yards ever under Matt Canada. They've been out gained in every single game this year.
That's crazy.
You know, the thing with the Steelers is they just don't lose games. They don't give them away. Yep. They wait for you to make the mistake. They just come out and they just play to their strength, and they just play solid, and they just do what they do, and they wait for you to make the big mistake, and they just don't beat themselves. You beat you. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm so adamant about not turning the ball over this week, because if we don't turn the ball over, the Steelers, I really don't think they can score enough points to win. So one thing that does scare me, though, is you heard they're making the switch to Jalen Warren.
Jalen Warren's a stud.
I think he's way better than Najee.
Yes.
Like, getting him to the ball in war is in for their offense. So that we got to bottle him up, and then just no busting coverages. They scored on the one George Pickens touchdown last time we played, just with a miscommunication. Basically, the only miscommunication in our secondary all season. So just no busting coverages, and I just look for the defense to be nasty. One interesting thing about Pickett is QBR's quarterback rating through the first three quarters is abysmal. Yet somehow in the fourth quarter, it's like one of the best in the league. So you gotta don't give this kid a chance to make a drive at the end, because for some reason this guy can play terrible for 99% of the game, and they need a drive for points at the end to go win it, and he goes 5 for 5 for 65 yards and a touchdown. It's like, wait, where did that come from? He hasn't done that all game. So it's to take him out of it early. You know what I mean? Like, let's just
agree.
Let's go 10-0 and then just scoring, and it's like knees on offense.
Offensively, I think that they've really, you touched on it, Jalen Warren, they have a pretty good split between those two, between Warren and Najee Harris. Najee's kind of been playing better as of late, like I would say the last 2 or 3 games. But I think that you can expect a lot of that. I think you're going to expect a lot of Jalen Warren, a lot of Najee Harris. Deontay Johnson, I think, is pretty much back, but he's very up and down, but he's still a nice threat for them if they can get him the ball. And obviously, you touched on Pickens. He's unreal. He's an athletic freak wide receiver. It's just they cannot get him the ball because the quarterback play has not been great for them. I think you also mentioned it. Their strength is the defense. That is how they're going to stay in this game. That is how, if they're going to win this game, they're going to feast on opportunities, and they're very, very, very well coached. kind of criminal how underrated I think Mike Tomlin, not Canada. I'm talking about. I think that people don't give him his dues. I think he's a incredible coach. Some of the teams that he's led along, like almost like Duck Hodges type teams, and the guy's never been under 500. They'll stick around. I wouldn't expect a blowout at all, especially now. I mean, they're going to be frisky. They're going to want to be in it. This is another one of those rivalries.
I think they have a chance to take over first and win the division.
Yeah.
So they're going to come out. I just got notification that Joe Burrow's hurting.
Oh boy. Well, that's tough.
I don't know what it is. I just saw he's in the medical tent. And I don't know if Lamar's back in, but
Lamar is back in. I just seen him throw a pass.
Yeah, we're gonna. Well, at the end of this episode, I guess we'll find out. You guys will know tomorrow. But I don't know how serious these injuries are right now. But I mean, that'd be kind of crazy if 3 of the 4 starting quarterbacks in the AFC North go out for an extended period of time and within a day of each other. No, it's going to be an ugly game. It's going to be I don't think we can get down early because I don't think DTR is going to go 14-14 in the second half.
No,
we got to keep it competitive. Whether we use the crowd, you come out, make them weather the storm. Like they're coming into our house. We gotta protect Cleveland Browns Stadium and then just come out, run the ball, control the clock, and just play smart. Just play play smart. And I think we got a chance to win this game. I think we can win an ugly football game on Sunday. And man, if we do, Steelers fans, I'm going to try so hard.
You basically touched on all of it. I expect our defense to be very, very nasty, very aggressive. Hopefully, we don't want to have any turnovers for our offense. But it'd be nice to keep that kind of rolling for us on the defense. So we've seen them kind of put together some turnovers and kind of almost be winning the turnover battle lately. As of late, I expect Miles to have a nice game. I'm also, go ahead, buddy. Go ahead.
I want Miles at this is kind of like a defensive player of the year, like head-to-head battle. Him and TJ Watt. I'd love to see him kind of really step up this game. You know what I mean? Kind of put the country, like the whole league on notice. Like, hey, we just played each other, and I just outdueled this guy, and my team got the win because I had 3 sacks or whatever. So I expect a big game out of Miles. So he's been doing it all season.
Agreed. Yep.
Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up. This is the first time that Justin and I have ever done an episode just by ourselves. So you guys just witnessed history.
This is just kind of what it looks like when we're just bullshitting just on the normal.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and wrap this thing up. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Hopefully maybe both the 2 teams that are playing right now lose. I don't know if that's possible, but we'll see. Hopefully the Browns come out with a big win on Sunday. Hopefully we can get a good performance out of DTR, or at least a 0 turnover performance out of them this week, and then build on it going forward. Don't bail on the Browns, guys. I really think these guys are going to rally around DTR. They're going to rally around Coach Schwartz and Kevin. And I think they're still, everything we want to do is still out there. We can still win the division, still go to the playoffs. So don't bail on this team. Be loud if you're up there on Sunday. Make them feel us, old man style, all that good stuff. We will see you guys next week talking about a big win, eventually put us in the driver's seat of the division. So thank you. We'll see you guys Monday or Tuesday.
Go Browns.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedawgspodcast.com.